Okay, this is a Bounty Hunter DE280 Outlaw metal detector. And I got 8-inch coil for it. Carrying case, 12-inch coil. Original manual here. Original headphones. They don't ever even look like they've ever been used. They actually smell like new plastic. But get a good look of it here. Show you the battery compartment. This has got 14 AA's. Got a battery A and battery B. The A pack is 12 volts, 8 AA's, 8, and it's got the tag on the 9-volt connector as A. You don't want to mix them up. You don't want to plug this pack into B. I guess they control separate circuits. So you got one 6-pack of AA's and one 8-pack. See, it's got some shielding inside there too. There's the battery door. And these kind of break easy, but the best way to put them on is just make sure that little latch connector is popped out. That would be in. Just pop it out. If you have one of these old ones and you want to not break it, then push the battery door with that out, and then once it's seated, then you just kind of pop it in like that. I'll get a good look of it before I turn it on. This one's like brand new. Everything works on it. But I want to give a shout out to Space Fury 65 about the conversation we had about my 840. I guess he had an 840 and he also had a 280, but when we were talking about it, it was kind of ironic because I had the 280 coming to me in the mail. But he said when he would put the 280's coil, or excuse me, the 840's coil on the 280, it made it perform a lot better. So I might give that a try today in this video during the depth test, and we'll see how that works. But first I'll run through the stock coil, and then maybe I'll put the 12-inch coil on and see how that works on this 280 also. And then after that I'll put the 840's coil on it and see if there's any difference. Who knows? There's your tuning. So yeah, your disc level 0 to 10, ground adjust. It's a, turn that down for a sec. It's a 10 turn ground adjust, not like the 840. The 840 just is one turn. This will turn 5 times in each direction, like a 10 total turn. So got it in center right now. And when you can keep turning it, and you'll feel it get tighter. Well, you don't, right there I can feel it getting tight, so you don't want to go past that. And it'll do the same thing at about 10 turns. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Now I can feel it getting tight right there, so you don't want to keep going. So that's about it. And that's a feature on a lot of older metal detectors. So to find the center of a 10 turn ground adjust, I just put it to the position where it's starting to get tight, and then I'll go back 5 turns, and that'll be your center position. I think that was 5, but anyways, this little indicator light, I was out on the front grass with that, really didn't notice it, so it might be just a gimmick. It's supposed to I'll show you how it works. The closer you are to the coil, the brighter the light should shine. And then when you're further away from the coil, further the target away from the coil, the dimmer it'll it'll light. Guess I can shut the light off here so you can see it better real quick. I'll do a more extensive review on this because I want to try that 840's coil on here. What else we got? Get your all metal, discriminate, volume, tuning, ground adjust, and disc level. Okay, got it all set up. I'm going to run it in discrimination. Let's put it in the scrim mode. Got it set up at about 4 on discrimination. Let's do a battery test. So show you how that works. Battery B, battery A, those are working. Alright, first up we'll do a nickel. Six inches right there. Losing it about 6.5. Silver quarter. This is a non-motion detector, by the way. Non-motion. Alright. That's 6 there. 7. 8. 9. 9.5. Maybe if you had the headphones on, you could hear that. One more coin. Morgan dollar. 10. 11. 12. Barely anything at 12, again with headphones maybe. Here's a gold ring. 8.5 right there. Let's play with discrimination and see how high we got to go up to knock out the gold rings and the nickels and the pull tabs. Let's go up to 6 on the discrim. Let's try the nickel. Took the nickel out at 6. Pull tab. That's gone. Gold ring. Still hitting the gold ring. Go back down to 5. Should let the nickel in now. Barely. How about the pull tab? Letting the pull tab in now. Here's iron. Bottle cap there. Actually, I can bring the scrim all the way down to about 1. And probably still knock out the bottle cap. Let's go up to 2. Yeah, knocked it out. Iron the same way. The nickel should come in a little deeper now that I got the scrim down on 2. 6. 6.5, about the same. Okay, well, let's throw a 12-inch coil on and see if there's any difference. Real quick, I just want to show the difference in coil sizes between the 8 and the 12. Now that 12-inch may never even have been put on this machine. It looks pretty much flawless, but all right, we'll put it on and see what we can do with that coil, and then I'm going to put the Bounty Hunter 840's 8-inch coil on this 280, and we'll see if we get the same results that Space Fury 65 said he was getting. Okay, I got the big coil on. Quite a big difference from compared to the 8-inch as far as size and weight. Alright, here's the nickel. I got the scrim on 4. This bigger coil doesn't seem to like the nickel. Seems to only be adding about a 1/2 inch there. about 6.5 there. Quarter. 8, 9, 10. Say about 9 on that one. Can't remember what the smaller one was. Here's the Morgan dollar. I think the Morgan was 12 inches on that 8-inch coil. Here's 12. $13. Almost the same, maybe just a dot more. Let's switch to all metal, see if that has any effect on it. All metal with the Morgan dollar here. 10 inches. Seems to be just like the 840, just like that 840. I thought the 840 was deeper with the discrimination on, and this 280 seems to be doing the exact same thing, which is, I'm kind of happy to see that, because that means I got the 840 put back together correctly, and the threshold kind of is the same as the 840 was as well. It just wasn't really smooth. It was just kind of crackly like that. It gets smooth when you retune it, but yeah. So I think depth. Let's try the quarter again. It's about 8 inches. Let's turn the scrim back on. That's 9. I think I'm getting about 3/4 of an inch more with the discrimination on, but okay. But not much of a difference, you know. This bigger coil, you know, it's the first time I ever used it. Who knows if it's operating correctly or whatever. This thing's 45 plus years old, so. But let's get the 840's coil out and see how that does. Okay, here you go, Space Fury 65. Here's the setup that you used to use, the 280 with the 840's coil. Let's see how it does. I have to say I was kind of unimpressed with the 12-inch coil. I did take it out in the yard in my little test bed. It seemed to only do slightly better than the 8-inch, just very slightly. Let's turn it back on here. Let's go scrim. I'll just discount 4. Try the nickel. All right. D280 metal detector with the Bounty Hunter 840 8-inch coil. Nickel. Six inches there. I think you're right, Space Fury. It seems a little more responsive, and I'm hearing that. I don't know if it was the same or just a slightly better. Not by much, but all right, try the quarter. Eight, 9, 10. Not much of 10. Morgan dollar here. I think with the 12-inch you're getting about 12.5, 13. Barely. If you had headphones on, you might have been able to hear that. 10, 11, 12, 13. Yeah, I think you're right. I think this Bounty Hunter 840 coil is doing slightly better than the coils that came with this machine. One more gold ring. Nine right there. Okay, Wildcat there. Well, there you have it. A review on the Bounty Hunter DE 280 Outlaw. Okay, I got the original 8-inch red coil back on the 280. So what's the reasoning behind the 840 coil? The conversation I was having with Space Fury 65 is he thought maybe the coil windings, or he had talked to somebody and said maybe the coil windings in the 840 were tighter, causing, you know, a better target response or whatever. But I think it's cool that I could swap those coils from the machine to machine. But if I had this set up back in the early 80s, with the depth increase I seen with the 12-inch, it just wouldn't have been worth it. I would have just left the 8-inch on. I don't know, I should have tried a bigger Tootsie Toy. I bet you the 12-inch would have been a lot deeper on a larger object like something like this, or even larger. You know, the bigger the coil, the more, I don't know, the less responsive it can get. You can actually go too big on a coil, because with my E-TRAC, I have an 18-inch coil that I've never used, never taken it out. I've done an air depth test with it, but it was getting about the same depth as my stock 11-inch coil, but it was a lot deeper with larger items. This little light on here, I could see how this would be pretty useless out in the field, especially if you're hunting on a sunny day, but it's just probably a gimmick. It's probably the same setup as the 840. All the knobs seem to be the same, and they add this little gimmicky light, but you know, it's definitely a bigger machine than the 840. I'll show you side by side. It's bigger and heavier, that's for sure, but this 840 only runs on 2 9-volts. The 280 has 14 AA's. But okay, there you have it.